Hey there, boys and girls. Today is Thursday, February 4th, 2021. Welcome back after your long weekend with the snow. We are going to start off today with our problem of the day. It says Carmen caught 10 frogs. Then some of the frogs hopped away. Then there are 8 frogs left. So how many frogs hopped away? All right, so the way that I'm doing this is I know that I have 10, starting off with. All right. Now the next thing we have to look at is how many of them hopped away. Now, if I take a look at this, it actually said some of them hopped away, so we actually don't know that number. And if we take a look at the bottom, it says there are 8 frogs left, so I know that 10 minus something equals 8. I'm actually going to put this into my part whole box down here on the bottom that I'm going to draw. So I know my whole number here is going to be 10, because when we do subtraction, we start with the part. We start with the whole. We take away the part, which equals the part. So if I know that 10 minus something equals 8, I also know that 10 minus 8 equals something. Because that's how our fact families are going to work, and that's how our part whole maps actually work. We can flip things up to make it easier for us. So let's take a look at this one. So instead of solving this guy right here, we're going to solve this one here on the bottom. So we're going to solve 10 minus 8. So if I start off with 10, I'm going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. I'm going to take 8 away. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. And what I'm left with right there is 2. So if I put 2 into this part right here, I know that 10 minus 8 equals 2. So that also means that 10 minus 2 is going to equal 8. So the frogs that hopped away were actually 2 of them. Boom. All right, so let's start working on our examples of a fact family. Now, when you do fact families here, boys and girls, we're only going to start with these 3 numbers today in that problem. So the only ones I'm going to do are 8, 5, and 13. So when I go and start my other problems, within a fact family, you're going to have 4 equations. You have 2 addition, and you also have 2 subtraction. Now, only using the numbers 8, 5, and 13, we have to try and make these problems work. Now, I know for a fact that when we do addition, we're always ending with the bigger number. And when we're doing subtraction, we always start with the biggest number. So let's actually figure that out right now. I'm actually going to move these over a little bit to make it a little easier. So minus equals, perfect. All right, so we know with addition, we know I can put my biggest number at the end. So that's 13. And with subtraction, we have to start with the biggest number, which is 13. So let's figure this one out over here. They actually gave us the first one right here. So 8 plus 5 equals 13. Now let's try to think of the flip-flop down here on the bottom. When we do a flip-flop, we just flip these 2 right here, boys and girls, and just place them down here on the bottom. So instead of 8 plus 5, we have 5 plus 8. And let's take a look over here. Now, we know we have to use only these 3 numbers. You can't just say 13 minus 2. You can't pull a random 2 out of nowhere. You have to use the ones that are in the family up top right there. So, I'm going to start with, let's say, 13 minus 5. Now, I could solve this by counting out 13 circles here on the bottom, but we don't have to do that, because if you know 8 plus 5 equals 13 over here, that's part plus part equals whole. So I'm actually going to put that down here on the part whole map that I'm going to draw. So if addition, I do part plus part equals whole, that means I do whole minus part equals part. So if I know 13 minus 5, that's going to equal 8 over here, because that's the other part of my equation. So in order to flip-flop these, boys and girls, it's a little different than addition. You can't just flip-flop these 2 like in addition. If you did 5 minus 13, that would not work, because we're not working with negative numbers in first grade. If you have 5, you can't take 13 away. Now let's take a look here. When you do a flip-flop with subtraction, you do these ones here, boys and girls. So you go whoop, flip these around, and there you go. So let's keep working with these fact families here. Now we're going to have to try to fill this one in down here on our own. Now this is getting a little funky, because let's actually start off with this. Part whole map. It is the best way to understand what we're doing with our problems and the missing pieces that we have. So if I'm looking at the addition piece, I know that my whole is going to be 10. Awesome. And if I'm looking at this one over here, I know that one of my parts is going to be 6. So just like one of the first problems we did, we need to figure this out. But, oh, you know what I can do? I know my whole is 10, so I'm going to do 10 minus 6 to find out what that missing piece is going to be. So let's try to figure that out. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Remember, boys and girls, when we do subtraction, we're always drawing this number, the biggest number. If you draw 6, it's not going to work. So we draw 10, we're taking 6 away, so I'm going to take 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. So I'm left with 4. So I know that my missing piece here is going to be 4. So that means part plus part equals whole on this side, so 4 plus 6. And then on this side, I do whole, which is 10, minus part equals the other part right there. So this part-whole map is coming in handy. We're going to do a couple of these, boys and girls, then I'm going to let you guys go today. So when we do related facts to make a fact family, we have to take a look at this. Like I said before, you're going to have 2 addition, and you're going to have 2 subtraction on every single fact family. You may only use the numbers that are in your family. You cannot use any other ones. So for example, if I did this, 11 plus 6. If I wanted to start off with 11 plus 6, I can tell you right now that's not going to be in your fact family because you have to use these ones. You can't use any other numbers that's not in the family because 11 plus 6 is 17, and this would not work. This doesn't work because 17 is not a part of the family. So you have to make sure that every answer you come up with is making sense inside the fact family here. So I know that 5 and 6, I use those 2 numbers right here at the top one. 5 plus 6 is going to equal 11 because for one, this is the only number left. I can't use another number. So let's say if you try to solve 5 plus 6 and equal 10, then there's something wrong because 10 is not in my fact family. So boys and girls, make sure you are aware of that today. So 5 plus 6 equals 11. We look down here, 6 plus 5 equals also 11 because all we did was flip-flop these 2 numbers. So let's take a look over here at subtraction. When we do subtraction, we always start with the biggest number. So we start with 11, we minus 5. So if I just did 11, use that one already, I took away 5, I used that one, this must be the answer up top right there because it's the only number left inside the fact family. So for example, we're going to try it a different way. We're going to flip-flop this one. So we're going to start with 11, minus 6. So that means I'm getting rid of 6 here. And which one's left here, boys and girls? 5. So we're going to put that right down right there. Let's do one more, boys and girls. I'm going to let you guys get started here today. So we have to add and subtract and complete the fact family. This is the last one we're going to do. So we've got the numbers 9, 2, and 7. Remember, you can't just start off by going, okay, I want to start with 9 plus 2. That's not how it's going to work. Because if you did 9 plus 2, that equals 11. And was that one in my fact family? No, it is not. I can't do that one, but that's a good way to check to see if that one is going to work. So let's start with 7 plus 2. I'm going to solve 7 plus 2. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And then I'm going to add 2. So 1, 2. Okay, let's count those up. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So 7 plus 2 is going to equal 9, but if I were to take a look up right here, I can also figure out the answer by looking at my fact family here. So if I started with the number 7, and I added 2, what is the only number left here in my fact family that I can use? That has to be 9. So if I do 7 plus 2, I'm also going to know 2 plus 7. I just flip-flop these two. So I go, whoop. This one trades places with that one on addition, and we have our same answer down here, 2 plus 7 equals 9. Remember, check your numbers. If it's not here in this family, it's wrong. Keep checking it. Let's finish up with these last 2 here, boys and girls. So we start with 9 minus 7 equals, I have no idea, but ooh, look at that. I can use my fact family right there. So I started with 9. I took away 7. So that means I must have 2 as my answer because that's the only number in my fact family that will work. Same thing here on the bottom. I'm going to flip-flop. But remember, when we do flip-flops in subtraction, we flip-flop the last two numbers. So you see that the 2 goes over here. So 9 minus 2 is going to equal what? Well, I started with 9. Take 2 away. What number do you think it has to be? It's the one with the a million circles around it, boys and girls. It's going to go right here. So 9 minus 2 has to equal 7. Now, you can always check your work, boys and girls, by using a pencil, paper, anything that you have to work on those things. You can also use whiteboards when you're in the classroom. So what you guys are going to work on today here, boys and girls, is pages 319 to 322. If you want to get back in the swing of things and do some amazing stuff, you can also do the optional pages, which means you don't have to do them, pages 323 and 324. Good luck today, boys and girls.